If you're using intermittent fasting to achieve a weight loss goal, there are 10 foods that you can have during your fast and still see results. And that first food source is apple cider vinegar. So each of these different types of foods follows this form of fasting mimicking, where you're not actually going to be fasting because you are taking something in, but you're still getting a lot of the benefits. And this comes down to the fact that each of these foods doesn't spike the storing hormone insulin. Because when you're in a fasted state, insulin is naturally going to be low, which unlocks our fat cells and helps the body to tap into a state of fat burning. So especially if you're looking to achieve a weight loss goal, but you want a little bit of something during your fast, it's important to make sure that anything you consume does not spike the storing hormone insulin. And the foods that will most greatly spike the storing hormone insulin include carbohydrates and protein, with carbohydrates being vastly the highest. And apple cider vinegar is pretty much void of any types of protein or fat, so you can feel free to add 1 or 2 tablespoons to your water or to your tea. In fact, there's even some added benefits of using apple cider vinegar before you break your fast. Some studies have found that it helps to reduce the postprandial or after eating blood glucose response, which can help to keep insulin from spiking too high when you do go to break your fast. Which, my name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition human performance. On my channel, I talk a lot about intermittent fasting and how you can use fasting to achieve your weight loss and wellness goals. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Okay, the second food you can have during a fast is butter or cacao butter. And this is especially for my keto coffee lovers out there. Keto coffee cheers. So both butter and cacao butter are essentially void of carbohydrates or protein. And butter is specifically unique because it does contain a short chain fatty acid called butyric acid. This has specifically been found to help reduce gut inflammation. Now, cacao butter is a plant-based option that you can use instead of butter. It won't break a fast, but it's important to note that it doesn't contain the butyric acid that butter has. And especially if you're a beginner, keto coffee is a really great option to be using some butter or cacao butter in. It can help to raise your satiety hormones a little bit and help to prevent hunger if you are brand new. In fact, I'll have my keto coffee recipe that you guys can check out. I'll have that link down in the description below so you guys can check that out. Okay, the third food you can have during your fast is coconut oil or MCT oil. This is also something commonly used in keto coffee. It can help to raise satiety a bit without raising the storing hormone insulin. Now, it's important to note that MCT oil has been found to be more satiating than coconut oil. I personally prefer to use coconut oil as a slightly more whole food source, but if you really struggle with satiety and hunger, then MCT oil might be a better option for you. Okay, the fourth food is a small amount of heavy cream or half and half. Now, the amount really matters for this one because the carbohydrates and protein can start to add up. It's not completely void of carbohydrates or protein, so you'll want to stick with a little bit less than 1 tablespoon for each of these. Which, speaking of, the fifth food you can have is tea or coffee. You can have these black or unsweetened and there will be zero issues. They don't contain any of the protein or fat that would raise insulin and break your fast. In fact, coffee and tea with the caffeine can even help to suppress hunger a bit if you do find you're getting hungry during your fast. And this includes pretty much all different types of teas as long as there's no carbohydrates added in. Okay, the sixth food that you can use is coconut cream. So similar to heavy cream, the devil's in the details with this one, because just like the heavy cream, the carbohydrates and protein can start to add up. So if you're using coconut cream in your coffee or tea as a plant-based option, then you'll just want to stick with a little less than 1 tablespoon. Okay, the seventh option are herbs, especially if you're putting these herbs in tea. So I mentioned mint tea earlier, which is a really great natural appetite suppressant that you can have in the evening after you've already started your fast. Plus, it's going to be caffeine free, making it a great option so it won't disrupt your sleep either. I just take some fresh mint and I boil it with water for about 5 or 10 minutes and you're good to go. Okay, the eighth food is turmeric. Again, the amount really does matter because it does contain some protein and carbohydrates. About 1/2 teaspoon is a good amount to stick with for turmeric. And turmeric is specifically unique because it does seem to have some positive benefits on reducing the storing hormone insulin. It also has been studied to speed up phase 2 liver detox, making it a really great liver health supporting food. And a lot of my clients or A and peeps like making a turmeric tea, but I even have some clients that literally just stir it into their water. Okay, the ninth food is sea salt. And not only is this something that you can have, but honestly, you really should be having it. Because when you're fasting, you lose a lot of water as well as sodium. This is a result of insulin dipping down. High levels of insulin tell the kidneys to hold on to both water and sodium. So when it dips down during the fast, it can cause a big release of both water and sodium. So most people know to be drinking more water, but a lot of people are forgetting the electrolyte portion from the salt. And this is why people, when they first start intermittent fasting, will get things like low energy or headaches. This is typically the result of an electrolyte imbalance. Not to mention, having enough salt is crucial for maintaining insulin sensitivity. And the more insulin sensitive you are, the easier it is to use fat as fuel. So this is the reason why I personally add about 1/8 teaspoon of sea salt to my morning water during my fast. Okay, the 10th food you can have is cinnamon. And just like turmeric and just like heavy cream, the amount still matters. About 1 teaspoon is going to be safe in terms of making sure it doesn't break your fast. Now, cinnamon has also been studied for blood glucose stabilizing perks, which is also crucial for stabilizing that insulin response. Now, my mom was actually the one who introduced me to the idea of cinnamon tea. You can just put a few cinnamon sticks in some water, boil that again for about 5 or 10 minutes, and you have yourself some homemade cinnamon tea. Now, I personally use a true fast for the first like 13 hours of my intermittent fast, and then I use fasting mimicking with foods like this. But you can check out my whole intermittent fasting schedule as a nutritionist and what I've been doing for the past multiple years with this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.